some ideas that we need to talk about. Curtis, we'll turn the time over to you.
Yeah, I'd like to say it was a presentation. Lindsay, do you still have the stuff from the last time we talked?
Yeah, you want like the budget
Yeah.
memo and stuff?
Yeah. Let's go to the budget overview that has the spreadsheet portion. We'll start out with it. Last city council meeting, workshop, we spent time going through the budget. Mark presented a number of things. Obviously, many wishes that he was still here to present this. But hopefully you've had a couple weeks to go through it. There was a lot of information presented there. I'm not gonna rehash all of that unless there's specific areas that you want me to rehash. I was gonna touch on a couple highlight things. Just as we're and mostly what I would like this to be is more questions. I'd like to have you kind of let me know if there's areas that you'd like more understanding, things that didn't get explained previously, if you've got questions, concerns. So as we go into the final, we can, which will be 2 weeks from today, we really are ready to adopt a final budget. Tentative's been out there, we're accepting comments. But if we look at this budget overview, did you find that, Lindsay?
I got it up.
So this overview is a real high-level shot, highly condensed, highly summarized. But it gives you kind of a view of what's happening between years, budget-wise. As far as I know, we're still waiting for the final property tax numbers. We should have those here momentarily. We'll feed those in as soon as we get them from the county.
We don't have the current,
What's
the
that?
most latest information
back.
on property tax.
I haven't seen it, and I don't know if it'll come to Mark or if we'll get it from the counties so that we'll have it for the final budget. They have until the end of May, basically, to get that finalized, and so it usually comes out right around this first week or so of June with the final property tax rate and amount. Or at least let me rephrase that, I don't want to say final. They will have the certified tax rate, so that the city can adopt without having to go through a public hearing. If we want to change from the certified tax rate, then we would have to go through a different process. Our budget is anticipating that we'll be able to be within the certified tax rate. So there's not a proposed increase to the property taxes. Number of changes there that you can see on the revenue side. Let's focus on the expense side of things. Key piece, if you look at the police department, if you remember 2 weeks ago, Chief Cordova presented his proposal. In that was creating more of a step scale for the police officers to bring that more in line with other areas, especially Brigham City and the Box Elder County Sheriff. So that estimated cost is coming in there. You can see a little bit over $210,000, and it also includes a new full-time equivalent for the animal control, just by way of reminder. The other one, if you go back, let's see, it's right there. There's a deal that's the recorder's position. We're just understaffed in that area. The easiest way to describe it is we're proposing to add one full-time equivalent. How that structure looks is kind of in limbo right now because we really should have a city manager involved in that to decide what the structure of the city is going to look like going forward. How do we structure the organization of the administrative side. And so what we do know is we're short a person. And so there's a proposal to add one full-time equivalent into, in that recorder/finance HR area, so that we can keep up with the growing needs of the city. And then, of course, you can see the garbage collection, we moved both revenues and the expenses out because there's a new fund that will just track garbage collection, the fees and their expenses. It'll be somewhat simpler to be able to explain any fee increases that we have, just as the garbage collection agency charges more, we can make sure that we're recovering the costs for the city.
And they built that into their thing, right? Didn't they build a 3%, 5%
Yeah, they've got an increase
increase?
built in there.
4%.
Yeah. And so it'll be a little bit easier for the city council to differentiate because it won't be mixed into the general fund. It'll be its own enterprise fund. Because it's got a fee, it's got expenses. It fits better as an enterprise fund in a lot of ways. And we're getting to the point where it's a decent amount of revenue and expenses. And then, of course, there's the transfers. This is where we're taking roughly 80% of the sales tax, and we're putting that away for future capital needs. They're not so far in the future. Some of those are projected to go in 25 and a little bit beyond. So we went through this a lot in depth the last meeting. So I'm going to stop here because this is the general fund of the city. This is the core portion of the city as far as general government goes. Questions, concerns, comments, discussion that you would like to have?
A few different ones as I went through the package for this meeting
Please.
and tried to learn from some of that. But going back, you had just mentioned the new FTE, which is fine with me. Where did the funds come from for that?
So some of it, when we bring in the revenues of the city, we look at all the different lines and where the revenues are coming from. So to say here's a specific revenue that is going to fund this position, that becomes a little bit harder from my standpoint of things because we look at things pretty high level. There are new revenues in the city, and a chunk of this is coming from the overall revenues to the city, not specifically for this position, but there's the new it's RTIF, Rural Transportation Improvement Fund. And what that is doing is the property taxes were subsidizing our needs in the street department. So a lot of road projects and other public works in that streets area were being paid for property tax. Well, now we have this source that will pay for the costs of the street department, which in essence frees up property taxes to be used in other areas that will help where the city has been growing. And so it's, I don't want to say it's revenue shifting, but what it's allocating revenues to where their really appropriate source is.
One of the things I'm trying to figure out in my mind and learn is, so how much money do we have that we're not budgeting and it's basically leftover? Because on one of the pages, it showed that we have combined cash accounts, total combined cash of over $31 million. So I don't know how much of that is going into the budget, how much we will have or typically have at the end of a fiscal year as carryover monies. General fund, perhaps some other ones. I know there's different usages for each. You might have $4+ million for the waste treatment facility, but that's already planned for to be used. So, but general fund at least, but $31.4 million, pretty hefty amount.
That goes across all the funds.
Right.
I did not bring out my latest financial, because I was going to look at the cash allocation as of the end of April. Do you have one still?
But I'll go print one. Excel's not working on here.
Great. I'll get that information because we keep track of that. Now, the one thing I will say, when we have a cash balance, that's one-time money. So that could go to one-time expenses. That's not an ongoing source. So when we're looking at the budget, I'm really focusing a lot on what's our ongoing revenues, what's our ongoing expenses. Because if I bring too many one-time things in here, we'll start dwindling down on some of those things. And so this is why we use the capital project funds to put away for those one-time expenditures. So the general fund, trying to keep it a lot more of it's the ongoing operations of the city that we can keep balanced out. And so, yes, we may have some cash on hand, but we want to make sure that is only going for one-time expenditures, not an ongoing funding of a position.
I'm gonna I will have a couple amendments to offer for consideration with
Please.
the budget.
Oh, great.
Not now, but I'm trying to figure out the levels of flexibility that we have in different funding sources to know what can be accommodated and what can't. And
I'd love to get those as early as possible, because when we come to the final, it's gonna be a lot easier to present that in a final motion. So, if you can, please provide them, and we'll take them into account, because the more that we can get into that final, the less we're trying to red pencil through, to get the final ready to go, because it has to be submitted to the state. And we want to get it into the system exactly right. So anything that you can offer beforehand, I would love.
Well, it hasn't had a council vote to know what,
It can still go into the proposal, and we'll just mark it as a change from this budget. So what the goal is when we walk out of here tonight, we'll have an idea, and then the next budget meeting, I'm just gonna be discussing what changed between the budget that we presented and what's being presented at that next meeting. So that then we are just focusing on those items that are recommendations from the council to each other of what, but yeah, I would love to have discussions of what concerns, whatever ideas you have to change the budget, because we're open to it. We'll take it down, and as long as we're fitting in with the revenues and expenditures, I'm good, so.
Kind of
Certain amount of
ideas
time.
are you thinking, Jeff? Just top of your head. Without getting into a lot of detail or whatever, but
Which Jeff?
that Jeff.
you don't run into that a lot of the time, do you? Well, I'll tell you one of them. We've had on the books where am I finding it? Recreation Community Events Planner. I'm interested in having that position filled. I don't know if the money's already there because the position's already in the books, if that would require some other change to make that happen. I think that the Park and Recreation system can use it, but also as we move forward, whether it's looking at Midland Square or elsewhere for events and things going on, I think, quite frankly, a full-time person would be a good thing to have on board.
So let's get Lindsay back, because Lindsay pulls together the personnel portion of the budget, and she can definitely answer that question. But by the way, this is why we need the additional position, because Lindsay ends up like this. This is a perfect example.
Yeah.
The cloner somehow. Jeff, do you have that? No.
No.
I was just looking for
Although
your
my-
input.
My wife really thinks I was able to clone our children pretty well because they came out looking a lot like me.
Oh,
But that's all I can help with there.
Another one that I want to wait and hear more about, but because she's here, and because I'm also with Habitat for Humanity and expecting some things, wouldn't add to the budget, but utilization of a portion of the budget potentially for moderate income housing.
yeah, and we have all that fund in Fund 72, the RDA that's
73.
available for any sort of project that the city comes up with.
Right, so it's already there as a line item. Like I say, it doesn't add money. It's just utilization of that budget.
Yeah, that's entirely at the council's discretion. Other,
I'll have to go through my pile.
Be Something that would stay busy
The what?
for a full-time position, the events planner
Rolls that's
person.
in the packet tonight for
Okay.
adoption.
they had a question about was it Parks?
Parks
Parks and
and
Rec,
Rec,
kind of
event
an
plan.
What?
events planner, sort of a,
That
In
position?
community events planner.
Oh, it's on our compensation plan, but we don't have an FTE allocated for it.
It
Is-
was
So-
Zach before he got promoted.
So it would be the addition of an FTE.
No, we're not proposing that. Are you
No,
saying?
I am.
Oh,
I-
gotcha.
Is there budget in there for that position already?
No,
Okay, so that would be,
all it is on our compensation plan because Zach was that position at one point, but
Okay.
it's not currently filled, not currently budgeted.
it's not currently budgeted for.
And that would be an addition.
Yes. Right now it's just Zach and then the 2 recreation program coordinators is what he has, and then a parks maintenance worker. There's that extra parks maintenance worker we've asked for in this budget, so there were
Right.
2 of those, but. Yeah, the one's not budgeted for.
Well, between all the events we have going on now, I think it warrants a position, but also what we're trying to encourage in the future with more events, I think it warrants it.
I'm sure Zach needs help too.
Yeah, we can work through and see what that would amount to and come up with a projection. So that'll be one of the changes that will come through in the next presentation. Other things we want to talk about.
Transfers, so I'm looking at the sheet in this week's packet, not quite $2.2 million to be transferred. And I'm assuming that's the 80%
Yeah,
of the sales tax funds?
that would be really close to the 80%.
Okay, and it's just a matter of where they're going, which I'm trusting everybody else to have the expertise on.
If we scroll down to this section on the transfers, there's 100,000 budgeted to transfer to fund future vehicle purchases. Right now, there's planned 500,000 going in to help fund parks. Another 100,000 going for overall capital projects. Those aren't vehicles, that's more equipment, other improvements to facilities, future. 358,000 going, that funds the fire department, so that's an operational need. 164,000 going to the rec department, that's an operational need. 675,000 going to the RDA, downtown RDA, so that's funding improvements in the downtown area.
That could be, that's the Main Street.
Yep. And
Oh,
then,
okay, can we stop there just for a minute? So where are we at in that RDA with this infusion of cash?
let's see,
Pretty close to 2 million now?
yeah, but there was some plans for the, something on the expense side of things, I gotta find the page. $71. So we're looking right around page 155, Lindsay, on that. Let's see.
55 with the packet,
That put me into the,
That's what is on mine,
the
but
new packet we're working on tonight.
I don't know if it's the new packet you're working on. It's the one Mark gave me the link
Oh, yeah,
to.
no, that was the layer.
So it's, right now, that fund has budgeted to spend $400,000 in improvements. There's other money for wayfinding signs and a facade grant.
Yeah.
So scroll up a little bit. Right there, that's great. So the 100,000 for the facade grant, 45 for realm enhancements, 40,000 for wayfinding signs, and 400,000. They are planning to transfer some money over to the parks to, pending what happens with the downtown park decision that needs to be made, but we put money in there so that there would be funding available.
Yeah.
But there, so the transfer coming in helps fund those projects there. I was looking to see, that's a balanced budget with that money coming in. And if you scroll up a little bit, we do have right there the excess from reserves. So this is where we're saying we're gonna use some of the one-time money, the cash that's sitting aside in that fund. We're using about 300,000 of that. That fund has at current pace about 1.4 million
Currently,
currently. So there may, I don't know if there's some expenditures, I haven't looked for that part, but typically I'd say, you know, we could spend some more of that fund balance down. It doesn't have ongoing operational needs, so if there's more desire to put more money into that one, we could go another $400,000 or $500,000 pretty comfortably
into the RDA.
of spending on the RDA's fund balance, their cash.
Now say that one more time.
For the downtown RDA, based off of where they're at currently and what's projected in there right now for 25, we could still add about another $500,000 and still be comfortable.
So just so I understand, we got the 1.4 and then you're saying we could,
Now, of that 1.4, I'd only recommend, let me back up and maybe explain it differently.
yeah, because I'm.
Right now, we got about $1.4 million in there. This budget is gonna spend down about 300,000 of that, a little bit more. So that's gonna take us down pretty close to $1 million. We could still have some expenses between now and the end of the year. I'm just hedging my bets. So that leaves us with about $1 million in there. I never like to spend everything up, so I'm 600,000, we're really pretty comfortable spending.
Does
Adding
that
on to
include the
what this
grant?
budget is.
Does that include the grant?
This one, just a little bit, sorry, Lindsay. No, this does not have
What's the grant?
grant in there yet.
The 454, whatever you got, that we got.
405.
Did we actually get, well,
Well,
no, we have that grant, but I thought it was in parks. It's in parks.
Yeah.
It's sitting in parks.
all right, thank you. That was my
So
question.
it's not sitting in the RDA, that's sitting in parks.
We just know where it's at.
Yeah, I'm almost positive that one's. Get the right fund. Yeah, that grant is sitting in parks, waiting for whatever decision's made.
Okay. Going back with all the transfers of the sales tax revenues, when does that typically take place?
We usually won't transfer that money until towards March or April
Okay.
of the year. We want to make sure the sales tax is coming in and have a good feel, so it's transferred later in the year.
The package we got for tonight is showing a lot of the finances to the end of April, and the transfers had all been made, but I didn't look back to find out, so when did that happen? So
I think
that-
we did those in
That's why the
March.
question. Yeah, and it was 100% by that point, apparently.
We were confident that we were going to hit our marks, so we
Okay.
transferred 100% of the funds in.
Thank you.
Other comments on the general fund? Burns?
I had one, Curtis, and that's on our building inspector. Is that what we plan on paying, what's their names that do it now, that 72.5? You know, our contract?
Yeah. That's where the projection would come off of, yeah.
Okay, and then emergency management, we've been talking, and I'm sure if we found somebody that wouldn't be a FTE, but it would just be 20, 30 hours a week at a wage. Would we find that money out of where? If we was gonna fund an emergency manager? To the tune, and I'm just gonna throw 20 grand or something for an emergency manager to start working part-time and,
So there's a couple options for the city based off of what, how we'd like to do it. On my budget screen, it's page 74, where we took out garbage collection, emergency management is right there. There you go, perfect. So right now, we do have a department for emergency management in the general fund. It's currently not, it does not have any funding to it. We haven't for a while. There is that option. The other option is to slide it over underneath your fire and EMS. And we could put that into the fire and EMS department pretty easy as well. And that's, if we need to put money in there, I'd want to consult with our fire chief, but
Right.
we can definitely.
Behind it.
He probably has enough anyway.
I would want to consult with him and talk. So, but that could be a more natural place for it
Right.
versus here. But once again, we want to make sure you have the option.
With that position, my understanding was that the city used to have that position as a part-time for emergency management.
Yeah, it's been.
10 years ago.
Yeah, it's,
Jim Hess was our last one, right?
Police department at that point.
yeah,
It was under the police department then.
yeah.
But in meeting with the county emergency management folks, they were happy when we had that. And apparently with the individual that we had, and they feel that getting that back would be a good thing.
He got a good promotion at work and then a part-time job on Sunday, so he didn't have time to do it all. The only reason that we lost him.
Yeah, I screwed that up.
He promoted him.
Battalion chief.
Given direction, we can see if we can find money for that. That's definitely something we can consider.
I think we need to, because I think we got somebody that,
Yep.
So I don't think you
Wanted to
included
make
that in your
sure.
budget, right?
No, that's been kind
Yeah.
of a recent development.
So we can hunt that down and see what the cost is.
Please.
Another issue that I've heard discussed, just a discussion thing is maybe the cemetery, is there any way we can maybe, rather than mowing, what is it? Mowing,
They're edging every other week.
okay,
We
they're
knew it
edging
looked
every
rough.
other week, but they're mowing every week.
Mowing every
Yeah.
week, but only edging every other. And we talked about if we can get them to pack that on till about probably the end of this month when the grass isn't growing like it does in the spring, because there was 2 weeks that did look rough and we knew that.
Yeah. Well, I've heard several comments and I've heard some comments from some of the council members too. So I don't know if that's something we can work into things or, I don't know.
It's only
But
a-
it's just, I know it's been,
We're only looking at 2 or 3, maybe $4,000 at the most to get us through till that grass quits growing, that much.
it slows down.
slows down.
Yeah.
Because it looks good today. They did edge, but it wasn't near as long today as it was before we mowed for Memorial.
Yeah. yeah.
it looked really good for Memorial Day.
Yeah, it looked
Oh, it was.
spiffed
yeah.
up for Memorial.
Kudos to everybody, that it looked great on Memorial Day. But that's just something I've been hearing from different folks, and so,
I have one question. You brought up the inspection. Wouldn't it be better, not that we can't, but wouldn't it be get our own inspector again?
Yeah, the money's there for it, but we just
If we
can't
could
find a
find
building
one.
inspector.
That was the challenge when
Steve left.
Steve. And this is one of those things we talked briefly about. We had a person that developed expertise in both building inspection and planning, and trying to find that combined package really is difficult. And a lot of cities are going to contracting out their building inspection just because it's kind of a specialized area. You can stay busier if you're working with multiple cities, and it's hard to hire a building inspector. And the challenge is that once they start having benefits and they have some time off, who does it if they're not here? We lose some control, but we gain some flexibility with that. So
And we're
it's
only
something we can
paying
go back
about
through and
half
look at.
of what it would be for a full-time.
So if the best guy showed up and said, I want to be it,
If what?
somebody showed up, then we still could do that. We have the money.
Yeah, the money's still budgeted for it.
I don't know who would work for
But we'd have
70,000
to-
with benefits.
There'd be some other line items to,
On a building inspector,
You're 130, 140.
But we've budgeted, what is our budget?
we've always left Steve's budget.
Yeah,
in
that's
there.
what I was gonna say.
Steve's-
It's got 70,000.
Yeah.
They'd have to go up, bluntly speaking.
Plus a truck, plus
Plus
Yeah, you-
office space.
office
Yeah,
space.
Have to find some office space.
I want to go back for a second with the emergency management, and Chief might be able to help us out here, but how many hours a week or a period would be needed for a position like that?
Just in a quick, assessment, depending on whether we want to be A+ emergency management or whether we're good with a good B-, how much you want to invest in time. But in a quick conversation I had with the individual that I had suggested was really interested, we thought somewhere around 10 hours a month would be a place to start, right? Enough to get to the local meetings that are taking place, the trainings, some of those events. And then somewhere in the neighborhood of about a $1,500 travel budget to make it to the state meetings. And we thought that'd be maybe a starting place.
I think that will help when trying to put together a proposal for a budget to be considered, that we know what we're shooting for.
I know that there's a little bit of a problem, or not problem, something to work out on, where they work for, like we had with Jim, was hours in the same place. So you're not, it's all emergency management hours and your fire hours, and not doubled up. We had a little problem.
Yeah, if the
Same
individual
thing.
worked enough hours that they got close to full-time status, and that would, I think, become challenging for sure.
But it's a different budget, or I don't think you'd have, if you went over 40 hours, if you got 30 or had 15 in for no, you're only going down to 4 hours, 2 hours a week. If you had 37 hours on the fire department and then worked 4, I don't think we'd have to pay that hour overtime.
Yeah, you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even,
No matter what budget it's coming out.
You do, and then they're eligible for bennies and everything. So that's what I'm saying. It's a,
You have to watch.
but I didn't get it when I was on the fire department. When
Oh, I see what you're saying.
that's what I'm saying. It was when I worked for Public Works and went on the fire, that was not overtime, and that wasn't overtime either. I don't know.
I think it can be worked out. It just,
Yeah.
Has to be different, like yours was okay because it was public works and fire, which do two totally separate.
Oh,
things in the
okay.
city, Whereas if he's doing fire and emergency management,
It's really
under the
close.
same bubble.
You run, if the person complains, they'd have a chance to have a complaint with the Fair Labor Standards Board.
Could we put them under the police and just rub money from that? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Then we wouldn't have to worry about overtime.
Well, it still just depends the job though. If he's doing a job
Yep.
that's similar to another. job he's doing,
Okay.
it doesn't
thing you
matter
gotta
what
work out.
Umbrella he's under.
Okay, I'm good.
Brett, do you have anything to add to this discussion?
No, the only thing, well, a couple things. I talked to the fire chief and he suggested that we do, add him underneath the fire department. But if we have one employee working, doing even 2 jobs, we need to pay him for their hours. I don't think we need to look at a way to, if they work overtime, they work overtime, I think it just has to happen that way. Is Lindsay there?
Yes.
Yes.
I think that's what Lindsay said, wasn't it?
And if she didn't say it loud enough, I'll say it really loud. Yes, you run a risk with the Fair Labor Standards Act. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm with that as well. Now, the other thing is, Jeff had brought up the thing about, an events planner. Would that, how would that and our contract work out with the Main Street manager and those events? Is that something that we would change to that position? What was the opinion on that?
Good question. I guess I'm not quite understanding, how many other events are you thinking, Jeff, besides what's going on Main Street? Parks takes care of the 24th, Parks really helps with about every
Sports,
event.
all the sports and everything
Well,
there.
that's what he's saying though, another guy.
Just another guy to help.
Mhm.
Well, we added one to them this year anyway.
That's
Yeah,
from
we added it to
maintenance.
Parks.
Parks maintenance position.
Train under Lynn before you're tired.
Did we have two before, or was somebody just not there a lot of the time? When Zach got promoted,
Yeah,
didn't,
we have 2 recreation program coordinators.
and we've always had two? Or we just didn't hire?
Yeah, Zach and Kirsty were both ones, and then, well, yeah. So they started out as Zach got moved up to be community and events manager.
Right.
Comment if I could. And I've seen it in multiple departments, and we've resolved at least part of it for the fire department, but elsewhere, as I went around and met with a lot of the department heads, quite frankly, they're overwhelmed. And it disables them from being able to do some things that could be really beneficial to the city. Just like trying to go after a fire training center. When the fire chief is constantly having to do his own admin work, he doesn't have time to go after grants and do things like that. I've talked to Zach about some of the grants that he was unfamiliar with that are available in Parks and Recreation because of my background. And I see some other things he could be doing that could enhance the park and recreation system we have here in the city if he doesn't have to do so much of the other laborious things.
I mean, as we're discussing all of these different things, brings up another issue with, Zach and his involvement with, keeping the website up and going and they're, like you said, sometimes they just get overwhelmed with all of the different things we load onto them and perhaps, somebody that is, has got some time to work, to keep the website current and that, and everything up and going, that might fit into it too a little bit. I mean, we can come up all kinds of ways to spend our money here, but,
Yeah.
are there any other comments? We have one other presentation I'd like to be able to do. Do you have anything else for us, Curtis?
We haven't even touched on enterprise funds. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at those. They have a little bit more uniqueness to them because their capital stays in their own funds. I will say we've got this budget working for this year. I'm very concerned about the water fund. And we may have to have some discussions this fall and into the spring about rates on our water and our treatment plant.
Comment. Hopefully, we could also, at the workshop at the next meeting, when we have to finalize the budget, they'll go through perhaps more on the enterprise funds and things. Because while it's a final budget, there really is no such thing as a final budget till the end of the fiscal year. We amend the budget throughout the year. So, I mean, there's always opportunities for amendments later on.
The big thing is personnel and needs there and capital projects and because the capital budgets we have to get going on because if you miss a window, you miss the season. And so you're right, we can make amendments to various things, but the personnel and the capital become really critical from a very specific standpoint that I sit in.
They're time sensitive,
They're
some of them are very time very time sensitive, yeah.
And alleviating some of the pressures of people working, and making sure that we can live within the property tax that we have. But yet, you're right, we can make amendments. And just to be clear, at the meeting on the 18th, we'll have final budget amendments for fiscal year '24 that we'll be presenting, so.
Case in point.
It's a very good point, Jeff. We can amend. We just like to do as good a job as possible, so we're not coming back to the council too
Good.
much. But it is a unique year this year with changes in city manager and others. But, please, if you've got other things, let me know, let Lindsay know. We'd like to incorporate them in as we come to the budget that'll be adopted for fiscal year '25.
Any other questions? Brett, any questions from you?
No, thank you.
I'm good.
Good. Jeff, you good for right now?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Curtis. Thank you for your time, and thank you for, and Lindsay, thank you for helping us through this and answering our questions. And we have a little earlier today, Susie Witt from Neighborhood Nonprofit. We had a discussion, and she wanted to be able to do a little presentation, and we've got some time, and I thought maybe it'd be good to let Susie talk to us about her plans and her ideas for Neighborhood Nonprofit and what they're
Habitat.
trying to do here in Tremont. And
Habitat for Humanity.
oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I had Neighborhood Nonprofit in my head, but Habitat for Humanity and did I read in here something about Neighborhood Nonprofit, or did I just dream that? I must have just dreamed that. I apologize. All right, Susie, time's yours.
All right, and I brought Randy, he's on my board, so he can come and talk it too if he wants. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about is how we can help, how we can work together on the moderate income housing that you guys are dealing with. I have this here, I don't know, somebody can pass it out. What we're doing right now, we have one of them. What we're doing right now is critical home repairs, and we're doing it in all of Box Elder County. We do have 2 projects here in Tremont City. But the problem with the program is that they only do roof repairs, window replacement, attic insulation, and knob and tube wiring. That's all they'll pay for. And it's $18,000 per household. It's a great program. The couple of families that we're helping right now are super excited about it. The problem is that you get there to their house and they tell us what they need, and then they're like, and we also need rain gutters, right? So like the house we're doing right now, her rain gutters are literally falling off. But this funding is not available for rain gutters. So we just have to say, sorry, we don't have the funding right now to do your rain gutters, to do your roof and your windows. So we're doing a roof and our windows, and, you know, like, we'd love to help with the rain gutters, but we're gonna have to say no. But if we got some funding from, help from you guys, we'd be able to do the other things that they need also. Another home that we have in Tremont, we're doing their sewer lines, and that's part of this. We're able to do that, and in the process of the sewer backing up and the stuff that happened, they got mold and different stuff in their bathroom. They need that fixed too, but the funding won't fix that. And so we have to just do what we can and then say, sorry, good luck with the rest, right? And that's really, really hard. So that's what I'm here for, is just to say we can help with that. Also, land acquisition is really, really hard right now, and we're working on that in Tremont. And we did do a house, I think it was 2 years ago, and put a cute family in that home. And we'd like to be back in Tremont and working again, but being able to purchase land in your area is any area is tough. So we would love some help with that. So, any questions?
So that RDA, seems to me like we sort of, do we set aside any funding through the RDA for these types of, am I,
So what was happening as Sean was preparing to leave, that there was that low and moderate income plan and the city was choosing
Yeah.
alternatives off of that. I'm not gonna say I'm the expert on that by any means. And I know a lot of history walked out the door, but the city is required to adopt you're nodding your head like, do you know more on this? Cause
I mean, I'm doing the report right now.
I'm out of my I'm out of my league on what is specific there. I can tell you the money that we have available and that we need to sign it into these programs. After that, it's in the city council's hands as far as, but the one precedent setting thing you have to be careful for is making sure that it falls within some sort of plan or you set a precedence for, and how do you determine who gets it and who doesn't? Without setting up some sort of panel or something else.
well, I received a report from Sam Taylor on kind of a moderate income, our strategies. I'm just looking at strategy D. Seemed like there were just 3 of them, wasn't there, Jeff?
Yeah, we picked,
Yeah, by state code, we have to pick 3. If we picked more, we could possibly be eligible for incentives. But the challenge with them is that a lot of them don't fit Tremont and a lot of the strategies. You know, as an example, one of them is how to do moderate income housing if your city's built out. Not even close to applicable for us, but applicable for areas in and around Salt Lake, so.
Well, I'm looking at strategy D right here, and I don't know if, I'm not sure if that's part of our, I can use some.
I'd have to go back.
I can't remember if this is one of the strategies or not, but it sort of fits what we're talking about here, I think, a little bit. Identify and utilize general fund subsidies or other sources of revenue to waive construction-related fees. Could be ring gutters or,
I think
Something-
that by law, that's waiving fees that the city charges. So that'd be fees like your building permits, your impact fees. So
I think that's kind of what we're, yeah,
That's what,
which could help on the other side of things, maybe the newer construction and that kind of thing. Okay. Now, okay, that,
In working on moderate income housing, since that's one of my assignments, and affordable housing, although that's not defined, the state requirements are moderate income housing, not affordable housing. And we come up with the plan annually and we talk about strategies. I'm not aware of anything that's been effective. Quite frankly, the builders can make more money not building moderate income housing. And as I've talked to people from around the state, including yesterday over in Cache County and elsewhere, they don't know about effective strategies. The state hasn't really held anybody accountable to come up with effective strategies because the ones that they have in statute don't seem to be very effective, if effective at all. One benefit that I am aware of having an affiliation with Habitat is for the building construction, it matches the state requirements for moderate income housing. So it would be an effective approach or effective strategy to having that. And even this year, we have a balance in the packet from this week of $746,000 there for that intent. So even in this year's budget, let alone next year's budget, which I think is a little over $1 million in there for that. But it looks like we've just been putting money in there and it's not really being effectively utilized to actually create moderate income housing.
talking about the RDA.
Yeah.
Yes, well, from what I understand in talking to Mark and elsewhere, it's no longer really an RDA because the time period has expired.
But the funds are still held inside the RDA.
Yes, thank you. But the time period's expired anyhow, so it's the funds are there for that purpose.
So I want to clarify how that works.
Please.
The city sets up the RDA, and then you have project areas within the RDA. So the project area expired, and all the agreements under the project area expired, but the RDA still is holding the funds.
Thank you.
So the structure of the RDA is there. And you could adopt another project area inside of that, given the new laws. But the the project area that was underneath it had a requirement to set aside, I think it was 20% of the property tax increment for low to moderate income housing. And that's the balance that's sitting in there.
Thank you. Well, the funds are there. This is one way to get some moderate income housing actually constructed, which hasn't happened in I don't know how many years. Neighborhood nonprofit will come, and I'm a fan, but the bulk of what they build is not moderate income housing. It's all dependent on who they sell to and what's involved, and the vast majority of who they sell to don't qualify for moderate income housing. So I don't want to put them down because I'm excited that they'll be coming here too. Quite frankly, we couldn't fulfill the demand with numerous organizations. So I'm a proponent of getting involved and getting something moving with actual construction.
Okay. You have anything else?
That's
We just appreciate you coming, and I'm sorry I
Called her a bad name.
called her a bad name.
No,
Called her a swear word in her language.
I'm with Jeff and I respect them fully. I do. They're doing great
All right.
things.
We
He's
were
right
no
in
rough.
saying they're different than
Well,
us.
yeah,
We do moderate
I just
income.
had it, I don't know how I got it in my head, but I did.
It's okay.
We appreciate you coming and sharing your programs with us, and let's see. I think,
Mayor, I've got a short question. I get calls often from just landowners wanting to know what the city's doing with property that it owns. One example is about 20 acres over along 2000 West, and there's portions near North Park. And so what is the council perspective to selling that land as private entities are interested in it?
I can tell you what sort of I know, and maybe you can correct me, but basically the idea is we're holding on to it for the right entity, the right thing to come along that has the biggest impact and benefit for the city. Now, that's something that can be discussed, and I think we've in talking to Sean and so forth, that's always sort of the thought. We're just waiting for that. The
Do we know what this
company
property
that can
looks
come
like?
in and have the biggest impact.
Which property was that one again?
On 2000 West.
2000 West, there's about 20 acres, or is there 15 now? I can't remember. 20 acres of land that the city owns on
Stuff that
2000.
we've exchanged back and forth.
Some of that was for the fire department trade,
Yeah.
or the fire stations and all that. But
Yeah,
they
that's-
ended up getting rid of that, but they've always owned that 20 acres,
Okay.
for a long time anyway, right, Mayor?
Yeah, oh yeah, we've had it since the beginning of 2000 West, so, yeah.
So there's no real clarification on what the golden egg looks like out there?
If you can show us a golden egg, maybe we can hatch it.
Okay. So we're looking though for one entity to take all of it at once, or?
Well, I mean, you start
like-
carving it up and you lose opportunity, somebody's going to come in and so we just have to look at each situation independently.
Mayor,
Yeah,
another option on that may be a land swap. It's nice to hang on to that in case something else comes up. We can do some land swapping.
yeah.
So that's another card that we could use.
But I think Jeff has got some ideas, and that's why he's,
No, I just get calls and asking, there was one person was interested in setting up a trucking business, but only needed like 3 to 5 acres of it. And so there aren't many landowners within our manufacturing zone, and
That are
as
willing to
we're
do
one
that.
of them, they just brought up the conversation, so.
well, that's always what I've been told.
28 acres, Mayor, 28.3 acres.
We got 28.3 acres over there.
I would like to see us consider maybe getting hold of Intermountain Healthcare again and seeing if they would be interested in swapping that land with their property next door to them and grabbing that land so we can use that for parks or whatever, So that's something else I'd like us to look into.
Yeah, Good thoughts?
Remember, Mayor, I need a 2-minute break in between.
All right, let's, Curtis, do you have anything else for us?
No,
We'll
we
have
can
some
go
more.
next.
All right, we'll have some more time to talk about it. Let's go ahead and take a short break, and we'll start at 7 o'clock sharp.
find the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right. Whoa. I told you you couldn't hear me very good, so I guess I'm going to pull this a little closer. Is that better? We'd like to welcome everybody out to our city council meeting this evening. Especially, we'd like to welcome you students. I know we were wondering if you would want to come tonight where your summer vacation has started and you probably have tons of things to do and places to go. But we're certainly glad that you're here with us this evening. I've asked Curtis Roberts if he'd give us an opening prayer, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, and one of our students, Lily, is going to come up here and she's going to lead us in the pledge, and we're going to help her, okay? So, Curtis, turn the time over to you.
Our Father in heaven, as we convene this city council meeting and come before thee as a community here in Tremont, we humbly thank thee for the numerous blessings which flow daily from thee. We're grateful for this beautiful area of the country to live in and for the freedoms that we enjoy, for the dedicated services provided by so many citizens. We pray for inspiration for the city council and others who present tonight, Father. We pray for a blessing of protection, of peace, especially of the ability to communicate freely and openly, that the important matters of this community might be able to be discussed, and as action is taken, that the lives of the citizens will be blessed by those actions. Once again, we pray for thy richest blessings and do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Okay, Lily.
Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Lily, and thanks, Curtis. We are, like I said, we're thrilled that you're here with us this evening, and we have a great agenda we need to cover, and we've got some important items we need to discuss, but probably before we get started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce to you, so you kind of know who the people are that kind of run the city here, and who make the decisions, who accomplishes a lot of the work. What I have over here are Jeff Sedahl is our planner. He's with us tonight. Our city manager normally sits in that seat, and if we can have you stand for just a minute, Bill Kobabe. He has been. We're excited. Pending approval tonight, we'll be seeing you next week, and we're excited. Right now, tentatively, Bill is going to be our new city manager. We're thrilled. Our city council, we have Jeff Holt over here to my left, and Blair Westergaard. Council members Blair Westergaard and Jeff Holt. Lyle Vance has been asked to be excused for this evening. Myself, Lyle Holmgren. Over here we have, you can't see him, but he's up in the, he's tuning in remote. We have Brett Rohde and then Wes Eastep. Lindsay Nessen is our city recorder. Paul Fulgham, I don't see him here, but he is our Public Works Director. Dustin Cordova back in the back. He is our police chief. Brady Hanson is our fire chief. Sarah Mormon is our Main Street manager. And we have Curtis Roberts here keeping our finances in order. So he's our financial guy. And of course, we're grateful for all of you. Council, declaration of conflict of interest. Do we have any conflicts with tonight's agenda?
No?
All right. Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Wes and seconded by Blair. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Approval of the minutes for May 21st, 2024, and I'd like to just make one comment. It was always a tradition with the previous mayor, Roger Friedall, that he would we'd have the opening prayer, and he would say, if you don't feel comfortable with the prayer, you can step outside. I thought, if Congress can have a opening prayer, I guess we can have an opening prayer. We don't have to. And so, just for the sake of the minutes, because it made it into the papers, that we do that, and I haven't been doing that. So I've been, I'm just doing that for sake of the minutes. Any other comments or questions about the minutes, council?
I move to approve the minutes from the May 21st meeting.
I'll second it.
Motion by Jeff Holt and second by Wes. All in favor?
Aye.
Years of service. Dan, are you here?
He's down right around the corner. Connie, tell Dan he's on. No? Tell
Dan's
Dan.
up.
Nelson, fire.
Can you hear us out there, Dan? Oh, there, okay. Brady, do you want to?
Yes.
Is that on?
Are we on? Sounds like it. Thank you. We were out in the foyer. I'm glad that we got a prompt that we were on deck. Most of you should know Captain Dan Nelson. He's being recognized for a 10-year service award. We are extremely happy to have Dan as one of our captains. In addition to a 10-year service award, he's coming up on a year now as full-time captain for the fire department. As a captain, he takes on many responsibilities, duties, programs, divisions of the fire department that now are shouldered by him and his responsibility. One of the things that I think I wanted to point out in this opportunity to recognize Dan for, above all the other things he does, is I believe he's here to serve Tremont City. He's not here to be a firefighter for anybody else except for Tremont City, to serve our citizens, to be part of this organization, and that's one of the things we especially like. But I also thought it was appropriate to point out some of the things he does while being the leader of his crew. He has a crew that he spends a tremendous amount of time training and teaching. Today, yesterday, they're out training. They're working on skills. They're trying to get better and better every day. And I'm especially impressed with how much time they spend doing that. He's developed multiple training props. He'll be out in the bay and building props and building equipment to help train and help improve their skills. He takes pride in staying busy, for sure. Seems to really enjoy taking on projects to make repairs around the station and the building and make things better for us. He's responsible for taking on the documentation of the training for Tremont Fire Department. And a huge thing he took on himself was implementing a business self-inspection program. So under his leadership, they got the address of every business within the community, sent a letter to every business in the community that said, here's all the things that would, the 25 or so most common things that would cause your business to catch on fire. Go through this checklist and make sure you don't have any of these things. And we've gotten tremendously good feedback from that, and that's just been within the last couple of months. So I would certainly like to recognize and thank Captain Dan Nelson for both 10 years of service and I would say exemplary 10 years of service. So thank you, Dan.
Me and Blair knew Dan when he couldn't hardly spell fire truck. So he's come a long ways in 10 years.
That's true.
All right. Next on our agenda are the Citizenship Awards. This is a tradition that we've have here in Tremonton City at our council meetings, that we invite students who have been identified by their principals, by their teachers, who have shown exemplary behavior in their schools, who are examples. And they are people that we appreciate so much. And you know what? You guys are our next leaders. You guys are our future leaders, because we're going to get old. Some of us already are, but some of us are, you guys are going to be the ones that are going to take charge down the road a ways. So we appreciate you and your ability to be good citizens, to be honest and be the kind of safe. You don't you try to keep your schools as safe as possible, and we just appreciate that. So we're going to give out these awards, and I've asked Connie Archibald if she'll come up and help out with this. Connie is the one that kind of got this started. Connie and Wes Eastep over here to my right are the ones that kind of got this idea started, and it's just such a great thing. We appreciate the principals and the teachers who have nominated these students, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Thank you for being here. It's a real honor, and a real strong power is in this room because of students. Parents, thank you for raising your children to be respectful, responsible, and safe. That's what we're honoring tonight. And it's the end of the school year, and we've had children in this room every single month this year. And it's been such an honor and such a tribute to be able to honor these kids tonight. So the mayor's going to call off their names, and I have a gift card for all of them from the city of Tremonton. Tremonton believes in having great citizens, and these children are the future of Tremonton. So thank you for students for being here tonight.
All right. Lily Wilson. There you are, Lily. And we'll have you come right along here. Evan McDonald. Raylyn Berger. Trevon, is it Petit? Pettit? Is it Pettit? Pettit. Trevon? Millie Shaw. Allison Espinoza Yanez. Koa Shaw. Nicole Boone. Capri Nava. Brooklyn Wardle. Elliot Weathersby. Giselle Zamora. Tanner Dixon. I'm not, okay, Jordan Lemus Barajas. Did I pronounce that right? Jordan Lemus Barajas. Have we missed anybody? Are there any students that we've missed? Okay. Thank you, everybody. We'll have a picture taken.
We also want to recognize our principals of our elementary schools. McKinley Elementary, Jacob Balls, Principal Balls, and the principal of North Park is Dax Cedarholm. So thank you.
Let's squeeze in a little bit. Everybody squeeze together.
Ready?
And we'll give you all the time you need for pictures. Sarah gets it so it's on the website, so if you want in the middle.
Okay, everybody, thank you.
Good job, woo-hoo!
How many are yours? Dax? So this one, can you take these? Okay.
I think we had a brother and sister in there.
Yeah.
One of them, I think.
He said he'd bring me some. I said,
Is it?
All right. We want to thank all of the students and parents for coming tonight. Our next item on the agenda is our public comment period. This is an opportunity to address the city council regarding your concerns or ideas. We're asking you to keep your comments to under 3 minutes, and the time is yours. The time is now yours.
I was waiting for others to approach. Yes, I will. My name's Randy Christensen. I'm with Habitat for Humanity. I know that Susan just spoke about it, but I wanted to add a couple things. First, I'm the board president, and I've been involved on the board for about 3.5 years. And what I've seen is tremendous, the difference that Habitat for Humanity makes in the lives that they of those that they touch and they help, either in actually building a home or helping in rehab of homes. And it's a great honor to be a part of that. So with that, what was not mentioned was I know that you guys have that RDA money available for use of low income or moderate income housing. And that's what we're requesting. We're requesting $400,000 to be able to do that, turn it back into use for the citizens. That's what it's for. That's what it's built to do. And so that's what it's all about. And we're trying to take those funds and use those within the city of Tremont itself to help out the citizens that need those rehabs and also building new houses. Through either purchasing land to be able to do moderate housing or things like that. It will all be used back here in the city. And I know it's a great opportunity, matching other funds that we've received from the state to make this possible. And what I've seen is just a tremendous opportunity that we have, and we should take advantage of that. And I encourage you to do so. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, Randy.
Don McClellan, member of the American Legion. I don't know if this is necessary, but I guess to get on paperwork and make it official. We are having the Flag Day event at Midland Park
We'll change the flags. We've got a couple of speakers, and we'll make an event out of that. We've got a children's choir. We've got, we're gonna have several people there, over 50 just for the event alone. So we just want to make note of that and get that publicly out so that people can join us for that day while we change flags and honor the veterans at the park. Thank you.
Would you repeat the date and time?
Oh, yes, June 14, 7 PM at Midland Park. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
So, Mayor, we gotta make sure we get this on our calendar and on our website and all that.
Right.
Will you take care of that?
Yes, we'll make sure we get that on the website, on the first, it's right there on the front page on the calendar.
Right.
That's a good one for people to know.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Soholt. I'm the assistant coordinator for Toys for Tots that covers this area. And right now, we're just looking for people to volunteer time as well as potentially a place to operate out of this year. We're looking for an area that's about 1,000 square feet. That's our minimum, is 1,000. And that's just so that we can organize the toys and better match the toys to the child's likes. Otherwise, we have a bunch of boxes and we just grab the first toy off the top and throw it in the bag for them. So anybody who knows somebody that would like to help out or has a place that they can preferably donate, as we are a 501c3, greatly appreciated. I've got business cards here that have our contact information, and I have flyers that'll give you a little bit more information on the history of the Marine Corps Reserve Toys for Tots program.
We forgot one big part. Since we are a nonprofit, if the location is donated, it can be a tax write-off. So if it only costs $500 to rent that location and we use it for 4 months, we can fill out a form and then you can get that money to do for your taxes. So you're not completely out for an empty space or potential someone renting that space.
You're right, I
Coordinator
did
come
forget
to
that.
help. It looks
Yes.
better, he's in uniform, but I am the coordinator, he is my assistant. But
And
he will
after
always-
14 years being out of Marine Corps, I still fit. Barely.
But when we're talking to people, they always look at that compared to me, so I have him do my talking.
And you said you need it for about 30 days?
Well,
4 months.
our busy season kicks off October 1st, but that's when we start getting all the applications in, that we start sorting all the toys. And it's hectic, it's crazy, since we're the only two that look at the forms. We match the toys with the children. So the sooner we can get the location, the sooner we can set up and start taking care of things. We're also not just Christmas. I am French, I talk with my hands, I apologize. We're not just Christmas. So if a house burns down, it gets flooded, we can step in and give the family clothes if we have it. We can give the kids toys, a stuffed animal to hug because of the tragic just went through. Worst case scenario, if they have to get removed from a family, we can also step in and be there caring for the kids. On back to school, when they first go back to school, the kids, if the parents have trouble, we can buy the backpacks, we can buy the first day of school supplies. We're not just Christmas. So having a facility helps us take care of all those other needs even easier. And working at a storage unit that I've had in my pocket, it's kind of hard to do all that.
All right, thank you.
But
Thanks for your time. Yeah, if you could, I'm sure that the council would like to see those, so why don't you bring? if you can-
flyers and business cards.
Okay, very good.
Would you like me to bring one up for
Yeah,
everyone?
Yeah.
If you want to learn more about us, you
Yeah.
can visit our
Yeah,
site.
I haven't seen this, so.
Since it's very detailed. You can see where every penny goes and how many kids we help in every area we cover.
All right, well, thank you. Yeah, leave those, and then if there's anybody that would like to pick one up, they can do so. Thank you. Okay, any other comments or,
Can I comment?
yeah, sure, Bill.
All right. Well, I didn't know if we were free to do that yet or not. I'm Bill Rosema, been here 3 years now. I'm here to complain about trailers again. Okay. I talked to Dustin, he's taking care of some stuff right now, which is great. I would like to see law enforcement be more proactive, meaning they don't need a phone call to do something about something, you know. Having RVs parked on the side, on the street, it's an obstruction, interferes with your line of sight. It's dangerous to kids, it's dangerous to drivers. It's not a good scenario. We've been down this road before. I talked to Sergeant Horsepole, he kind of made it sound like the state makes up the laws regarding trailers, and you guys are stuck with that. I don't like that. That's a bunch of crap. If the state is making a law regarding trailers in Utah, if they're making the laws, then we need our local leaders, which is you, to beat them up to change the law. I think 24 hours on the street is too long for a trailer. I really do. I think it's ridiculous. People need to be able to park their RV in front of their house when they are loading it or unloading it and cleaning it. I don't have a problem with that. I believe that the law should stipulate that if you have a trailer in front of your house, there should be an adult present outside around the trailer at all times to prevent children from running into the street that can't be seen from the trailer. Make sense? From a safety standpoint, I think that should be required, that an adult, responsible adult, be out there on guard duty, on the lookout to make sure kids don't run out in the street and get run over by a car that can't see them. I also believe if that's part of the law and you're making people do that, they're gonna be less likely to leave their trailers there for 24 hours or 2 weeks at a time. If they're required to have an adult out there at all times, they're gonna be pretty tired of guarding the trailer. So, on top of that, you know, I mentioned previously with the fines and whatnot, the first time you get somebody, you give them a warning. I don't have a problem with that, but after, you gotta have the fines. $100 fine, second offense, $200 fine, third offense, $300 fine for all offenses after that. But at some point in there, you gotta tow the trailer. You gotta impound it. You have to do it. You have to have consequences or people ain't gonna follow the rules. I got a repeat offender on my street, just keeps coming back. His trailer was there, showed up the 20th, that was a Monday, then it left Friday night for the long weekend. Memorial Day morning, came back. That Monday morning on Memorial Day in the AM, and I'm telling you, it is sitting there right now. And today is the 4th of May. I like him, okay? They're good people, but he ain't special. And nobody is. This is crap, okay? This is not personal. I'm not doing this. I'm not complaining about trailers because I got a vendetta against the neighbors. I don't. There's another trailer on 150 West that's been there for 2 weeks. It's a bunch of crap. We got to get it taken care of. Sergeant Horsepole mentioned that they were going to take out notices and put them on everybody's door in Fremont and Garland, informing them about trailers so that nobody could say they didn't know. You know, I like that idea, but I haven't seen the notice yet. I certainly haven't had one on my door.
Thank you, Bill. And, Chief, do you have any, if you have any questions, you talk to the chief. Oh, you've talked, okay, very good. Thank you. Thanks, Bill. Okay, that concludes our public comment period. New council business, discussion and consideration of adopting resolution number 24-30, appointing Bill Kobabe as city manager and approving the terms and conditions of the city manager agreement between Tremonton City and Bill Kobabe. Council, do you have any questions?
I don't. After meeting him and all that, he's gonna be a good fit. I
think-
really think he's gonna fit in our town. So if you're okay, I will make the motion, we adopt resolution 24-30, appointing Bill Kobabe as city manager.
Motion by Wes and seconded by Jeff. Let's see, Wes, go ahead.
Wes, aye. Do you wanna catch Brett on?
Oh,
the way?
Brett, you're next.
Red eye.
Motion passes. Welcome aboard.
Now you can throw him out of your seat. That is yours now.
Yeah, come on up, take your seat. We're not going to kick you out. Okay.
I'll get him next time.
There you go.
This is the last time.
First and last. Okay. Discussion and consideration of adopting resolution number 24-31, appointing Bill Kobabe as a member of the Utah Telecommunication Open Infrastructure Agency, that's Utopia, Board of Directors, and appointing Lindsay Nessen as an alternate member of the Utopia Board of Directors. Council?
I don't think we've had one since Sean left. We didn't get Mark put on it, and they've been kinda, oh, Mark did? Oh. Did we have you as an alternate then?
No, I think
I like that idea.
Paul was the original, Mark was the alternate that I thought took over. So yeah, we probably didn't have an alternate.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution 24-31, appointing Bill Kobabe as a member of the Utopia and Lindsay as the alternate.
Motion by Blair.
Brett's gonna second that, I think.
Brett, did you
Yeah,
second it?
I'll second it.
Second by Brett. Let's see. Blair, you're up.
Blair, aye.
Jeff O'Donnell.
Wes, aye.
Motion passes.
Brett, aye.
Brett, there we go. Thanks, everybody. A discussion and consideration of adopting resolution number 24-32, amending the resolution number 23-56, a consultant agreement between Hemco LLC and Tremonton City for lobbying services on state and local government relations and appropriations with the Utah legislature and state government agencies. So maybe I can just kind of fill us in a little bit on this. They have approached us, or we've been working with them on another opportunity. There's another $1 million grant that we are pursuing to, so out in the Deweyville area, maybe, Wes, you can fill me in if I leave some holes here. Out in the Deweyville area, 2 years ago, we had a water line fail on us. And when that water line failed, there was, we had to make some pretty serious adjustments. It was right there by the canal over there in East Tremonton. And the water, because the canal was full at the time, we couldn't do anything with the system until after the canal quit flowing. Well, they got it fixed and everything, but those lines are old. One of them was built in the 1940s and the other in the 1970s. And these two lines, what we are proposing is to take those two lines and make one, and abandon them, and make one large, I believe, is it 16, 18 inch? 16 inch line that would replace those two lines, and it'd be new, and what we don't like is we don't like culinary water failures in the city, and when that happens, it's all that Public Works can do to keep everybody. I imagine nobody in this group here knew anything even happened. But and that's a tribute to you guys for your quick action to keep everything flowing. But in any case, we are applying for another grant, and sort of the way the contract goes is if he is not successful, or if HEMCO is not successful in getting this next grant, then we will pay 1 month. That's sort of the contract. We'll pay that 1 month additional fee to the company, but then it dissolves after that. So we currently are working on a grant. We're fulfilling the secondary water project on the south end of town. That was one of them. And so what we want to do is we want to continue this and get this money for this next opportunity. I don't know if,
Yeah, you're pretty close on that.
was I pretty close? Okay.
We've used them twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
One for $1 million and the other one was
2 million.
$2 million.
So the city has benefited, to this point, $3 million that we haven't had to go to the budget to or ask the citizens to cover the cost of these improvements.
Mayor, what's the cost if they do get the contract?
I'm sorry, Brett, what did you say that again?
What's the cost if they do capture the grant?
It's $100,000. So it's 10%. It's the same as he's done on all the other ones.
Split up in monthly payments, correct?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Thank you. I make a motion that we adopt that.
Okay, motion by Brett. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Wes. Let's see, Jeff, you're up.
West Eye.
Brett, aye.
Blair, aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, everybody. That concludes our new council business. When Mark left us on Friday, he promised that he would make it easy on us, this council meeting. So we have a consent agenda, the adoption of the April warrant register, and the adoption of the April financial statements. Council? We can make a motion to pass this in one motion.
Got to thank everybody puts time into that. I mean, I look up there and I think a lot of them are mine that I charged. And I know it's a lot of work. Thank you, Cynthia, Shari, Lindsay, all you girls that do all that. I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Wes, seconded by Blair. I think this is just a vote.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Calendar items and previous assignments. Let's see, review of the calendar we have coming up this month. We have on the 14th, there's Flag Day. We have the Veterans. We need to make sure we get that on our website. Any other items coming up in June?
They're on the big calendar.
That's gonna be held with the Tremont City Days, with A Days.
Okay, so that'll be in July. That'll be in July. And,
You guys are all ready, right? Chief? You're gonna love it. But there's gonna be a 72 Chevy driving around town?
It's a 70.
Oh, 70. Do me a favor, pull it over, would you? It's not gonna be in the burnout contest, I can tell you
Will
that.
be in the burnout contest.
That's a fun night.
are there any unfinished business or action items we need to take care of? All right. Reports. Let's see, city administration reports. You have anything for us, Lindsay?
Prepared for next meeting, it's gonna be huge because we already have agenda items to like M, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Our final budget meeting will be next council meeting. We should have everybody here that night, so we're looking forward to that. DRC, anything with the DRC that you have to report?
Just progress on development.
Yeah. I see they're doing some work out there where the Jack in the Box. Is that the Jack in the Box?
No.
No.
They
That's
haven't
something-
done nothing. They're just
Jackson Box.
redoing the asphalt into Miller's on the west side. between
That's all that is? Okay,
Jack in the Box is on the west side of the Western Inn.
okay, all right.
I don't think they've come in yet, have they?
No, they came and paid for portions of it today, and then we're finalizing the development agreement with them. So I just got, the architect sent me a few files to put in, and then she was gonna look through the rest and send them to me tomorrow, so.
All right, department head reports. Let's see, Chief, do you want to, have anything for us?
From the police department that you guys aren't aware of.
Okay. We appreciate everything you guys have been doing the last little while and what you were able to,
Wish
Yeah.
we could buy you a truck that was here the other day though, huh?
Yeah.
Nice
Yeah,
truck.
Buy me one of those, that'd be great.
Okay, we'll see what we can do.
all right.
Just one quick thing for me. I discovered that there's some unexpended funds in a grant account in Utah. The state of Utah Bureau of EMS is transitioning from being a subdivision of the Department of Human Services. They will now be moved under Department of Homeland,
Public safety.
Department of Public Safety. I discovered about 3 hours ago that as they move, they can't move the money with them. So they have some unexpended grant funds that they will rapidly be trying to award. Long story short, tomorrow, with your blessing, tomorrow I'll apply for a $100,000 ambulance grant. And I think I got a pretty good shot, so.
No.
Well, it comes with strings, right? Because if I get it,
Oh, the
I'm gonna ask him for another 200,000 to pay the rest of it. But it's already in our plan. It's already in our plan to be replacing ambulances. So just wanted you to know that if we do get that award, it will be a very rapid. Homeland Security is going to pull those out of their budget. Not Homeland Security, sorry. Health. So just give you a heads up in case I come.
I love you so much,
That's really good. Thank you.
Yourself.
We're hearing everything from you, Brett. I think I want to mute you.
He's calling.
Curtis?
So we kind of wrapped up really quick on the budget. I got down all the notes and we're gonna be making those adjustments. I was doing some quick calculations. We may have some difficult decisions coming up as we're lining up these additional expenses, so if you've got any more suggestions, please send them to Lindsay. I'm gonna use her as a repository just to get them, and then we'll get them put into the budget to analyze. But right now, we are spending more money, there's more money in expenses than there will be in revenues coming.
With what we talked about,
Yeah.
before that, things were looking pretty good and then,
They were low enough that they were within my comfort zone. This is starting to push my comfort zone. So it's beyond my comfort zone, just doing some initial calculations.
Do you have an estimate?
Well, just as a reminder from the last meeting, the council had told us to budget instead for a part-time public works, for a full-time public works, assistant public works person, if you remember that. There is a truck for that assistant. There's, the preliminary estimate for the police step increase did not include benefits, we noticed. So there's some additional coming in for that. And I forgot the fourth one, Lindsay, it's on my sheet there that
4,000 for the lawn.
those were 3 from today. Yeah, and there was
Oh, the Placer AI?
the Placer AI.
15,000.
So how much was that?
15,000.
15,000. So by the time we added that up, I'm coming up in the neighborhood of another, I think I was around $350,000-ish that we were already, that's in addition to about the 170 that we were already over. So we're looking at being short about $500,000. And that's way beyond my comfort zone. So just please look at the budget. If you've got any other suggestions or recommendations, please get them to us so we can have as best presentation we can coming into the final budget presentation. And then, once again, just to reiterate, all we're gonna be presenting are the changes from what we've presented now to going to what the final is.
Curtis, if we held off for this and did a little better planning next year, can we maybe fit some of this in? I'm like you, I think it's pretty late to be throwing major things into the budget a week or 2 weeks before the final.
And we always have the ability to amend during the year,
Right.
and evaluate what those are doing. We're as we get a little bit, we had some disruption this year, to say the least.
Right.
My goal is as we're coming in, we'll actually start budget discussions in February-ish, is the goal, and start outlining some objectives so that we have a few more meetings to discuss these things. So, and with a few more.
Maybe outline that, like all them positions that we added, and maybe we have to do that in increments instead of all at 1 year.
And we'll definitely have that broken out in a budget, in a memo format for you to consider. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that update.
Keep us out of jail. I don't look good in orange.
Let's see, Shari, do you have anything you want to share with us? Sarah, anything?
July 6th is our 4th of July farmers market, and we are always inviting city council members to come out and participate. We do a watermelon eating contest for all ages and encourage city staff and city council and city manager to participate in that as well. It's a really great opportunity just to get involved with the community in a very fun, personal way. And then we also give out free hot dogs, and we are more than happy to have you guys help with that part as well. So put that on the calendar, July 6th. Farmers market is 10 to 2.
Thank you. Okay, let's see, council reports. Jeff?
An article that distressed me a little bit, but as we talk not just about moderate income housing or affordable housing, but general housing. So data collection experts at Smart Survey predict that if growth continues at its current pace, the average Utah home will come with a price tag of more than 1.1 million by the year 2030, so in 6 years. They're predicting that, and I know Tremont is not as expensive as some other areas, but it's still a bit scary when I read these reports. And actually, there were several articles that came from a lot of different angles making the same point.
1.3?
1.1 million,
We're gonna make so much moving.
the average Utah home. So a little scary. Also, I was asked to look at the proximity laws for beer licenses or other alcohol licenses in the state, and I went down to Salt Lake City and I actually met with staff there from Department of Alcoholic Beverages and Services and talked to them. And they said a few years ago, yes, you could have done that. But the legislature had changed the law, had amended it to where, no, that's not allowable. There are no waivers, exemptions, anything else. The proximity law is as it is written. Sorry, Brett.
It is what it is, huh?
Thanks for calling out.
It doesn't matter if it's a, what type, if it's not a park, if it's a, it doesn't matter. It just,
For a beer license, 200 feet direct line, 300 feet if you're walking across the street or going kind of zigzag to get there. That is solid.
from a park. or
Church to, that was the question, was about
church.
churches.
The church.
Right. We're fine with the parks, with the change of the definition of public park, but the church is there, and I believe it was Brett who asked the question at the last meeting about, actually, we have 2 churches downtown, but how does that impact the rest of downtown? And it would be difficult for another beer license in downtown.
Thank you for following up on that. Where?
I stopped by the farmer's market, and again, great experience. I did just notice the trees on the west side. They gotta be trimmed, because I'm not very tall, and you had to walk around them. And there's just limit them up, just so you can walk under them, because it's in the way. But I thought it was great. Works good. I won't be able to be there on the 6th, by the way, so that's my family time, so. But I thought it was another positive experience. That's all I have.
All right, Brett?
The only thing I have is that last agenda item on the workshop. I want to talk about that tonight. Were we going to do that?
With the committee, steering committee?
Yes.
Yeah, as soon as you get back, let's get with you, and then we can get that, kind of get that going.
Well, can we talk about it tonight?
That town hall.
Oh, the town hall follow-up, it is on the, okay. Yes, so, what we need to do is we need to identify, I've got several suggestions of individuals that wanted to be a part of the committee. And we want to get this group put together so we can sort of take the information we had from the town halls, the 2 town hall meetings, and move forward with direction now. And this committee would be made up of citizens and also of staff from the city that would be able to provide technical help and everything with the direction. And then what I'd like to see is for us to have these meetings and come back with a suggestion or a proposal for the city council to consider. It'd be nice if we can get this done in the next, not too long, because I don't know how long that grant will be, they're willing to work with us right now, they want to work with us right now, and so we just want to be able to, we want to move forward with this as quickly as we can. So I guess I'm just kind of waiting when you get back, Brett, and I was kind of waiting for Lyle Vance also to get back from his vacation so we can talk a little more about it. Jeff, I think you wanted to be a part of it. As soon as we get back and get everybody back in Tremont, and we'll get started on it.
Well, and I'd like to suggest, I talked to Lyle Vance Sunday, and he agreed with this, that Jeff had some really good ideas on putting together a steering committee, and I think we ought to let him start to review that process and make sure that, I don't know why he couldn't start doing that, do you?
No, in fact, I'd like to meet with you for a little while, maybe after the meeting today, Jeff, and we can sit down and talk about what some of the ideas are.
Yeah, because I feel really good about where Jeff was headed at with his expertise. I think that he could make sure that we get a really non-biased steering committee put together so we make some really good decisions there. That's my 2 cents. And that's what Lyle said as well.
Okay, very good.
That's all I have.
Thanks, Brett. Wes?
Just want to remind everybody, the 1000 North project has started. yesterday. And I think they had to be going a little too fast. You know, but if you're up around that project, go slow, be patient. But sooner or later, we're gonna shut that road off too. Right now, they're letting them flag through, but they said there was no signage, but I didn't get out there to check today.
There's some there today. There was one
There?
that says bump ahead, like, there was a sign right there, right past the 2300 west intersection that said, you know, slow, like bump or something.
And did they have flaggers out?
Not that I saw.
Okay.
But I was right at lunch, so probably, you know.
Okay.
Earlier today, they had flaggers on it.
Did they? Okay. Just so everybody else is aware, that project's going on, and another one of them, I gotta throw kudos to our water department for the water break we had over on the bridge that probably nobody knew about, but I think they put water back in it today. So another one of them that, you know, Paul and them guys down there, they're doing a lot of stuff nobody even knows. They don't want nobody to know either. They don't want it a secret, but it's like, that's just our job, so. I see that in public works because I'm there, but I see it in the fire department, I see it in the police department, you know, in the office staff. We got a committed group of people here, people that really care about our city, and, you know, the Memorial Day program, I didn't see it, but I watched it and all that, I thought that was great. Cemetery got cleaned up Monday, mowed today, it's back, you know, we just gotta pour some water to it for the dead spots, and so we just keep moving and chugging along, but I hope everybody knows that, you know, citizens know the commitment and dedication you have in your own, and these guys up here, you know, we got a great community and we're just gonna keep trudging forward step by step, so that's all I got.
Well, I don't think I can top that. So we'd like to thank everybody for coming out this evening. We don't have a RDA meeting or anything like that, so I can entertain one more motion.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn, except Brett, you gotta hang around.
Not gonna happen.
Okay.
Go ride the Ferris wheel or something, huh? Isn't he in California?
Yeah, he's in California.
101 degrees, by the way.
It'll be 100 here Thursday, so don't hurry back.
Thanks, everybody. Let's see, I guess we need a motion.
I did. Make
Okay,
motion, we
all in
adjourn.
favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.